welcome to Dynamic GT League's 3volution series for round 2, races 4, 5 and 6 from the Autopolis short circuit. We'll have a quick look at the current standings. SGP leading the way on 50 points. Conrad and Demon are tied in second on 45 points. Then we've got Artpal in fourth on 40 points. Rich Blues and Nelly tied fifth on 35, and 1 point behind them is SRI on 7 points. Then we've got a little bit of a gap to Twilight in 8th on 29 points, and 2 points behind him is Jason in 9th, with Formula Gary 3 behind him in 10th. And then we've got Steve, Jimmy, Critical, Hey and Bob that have all not scored yet. Now, unfortunately, Ray isn't with us on commentary today. He's not well. It also means that he wasn't able to take part in the race. So if Twilight scores more than 5 points in any of these races, he's going to jump SRI. Also, Rich Blues are able to make today's race with being at a Birmingham City match. I don't know why you would want to do that to yourself. Steve F1 not here with his wheels still not having been returned from Thrustmaster yet. Let's see who else is unavailable. Yes, Gary. He's gone and put his back out, so he can't get into his loft to go and play on his computer game. So yeah, unfortunately, a few drivers missing from today's race. However, the Autopolis short circuit is a tricky little monster, which in the dry shouldn't really be too much of an issue for any of the drivers. However, when it comes to that full wet second race, we may see a few cars facing the wrong direction, because this place has off-camber corners, you're crossing the racing line a lot, and if you're in the Cosy, it's got such a strong front end that the rear end may not be able to cope with what the front end is trying to do, or if you just get a bit too greedy on the throttle. But yeah, now a quick reminder as well, there is no qualifying for today's round. The first race will be set by championship order, so in a moment we'll go and take a look down the grid, and here we go to the circuit. It is nice and sunny. So we've got 3 10-minute races coming up, with SGP leading the championship, so he's on pole position, followed by Conrad in 2nd place. Demon R in 3rd, still the only Mercedes on the grid, and then we've got Artpal in 4th place. In 5th place is Nelly, who nearly didn't make the race for being stuck in traffic, but did get here eventually. And then we've got Twilight, and then we've got No Match for Me Tank, who's now No Match for Me IKEA. In 7th place, and then Jimmy in 8th. So Jimmy is back with us, but yeah, unfortunately a small grid here today, but I suppose that's one of the benefits of being on a small circuit. It'll still be busy. 4 lights, 5 lights, and away they go! Nobody jump starting this week, but different levels of quality of start. Conrad didn't get the best of them. SGP got a blinder. I think Jason got a decent start as well, so he's gone for the Cosy, and SGP is going to lead into turn 1. Artpal and Demon are side by side. Now they slot in. It's behind them on the pack gap, but it gets a little bit frisky. Nelly, Jimmy and Twilight getting a little bit close together, so Jason has jumped 2 places so far. But look at the gap already opened up by the front 2 as Demon R and Artpal still side by side ish. The Cosy will have the power on the exit to sneak ahead, but will it have the power in the corners? The grip in the corners to hold on is, you know what, he has managed to hold on a little deep into the hairpin, but okay at the moment. Now this is the corner, the exit of this hairpin, that is going to be the most treacherous for all of the drivers throughout the whole of this race, potentially, or the whole of this round, with all 3 races as Nelly and Jimmy side by side. Jimmy having not had any practice other than a few minutes before we got going here, so we're not being here with last week's race. A few unknowns as Nelly's going a little bit deep into the final hairpin, nearly collects the back of Demon R's Merc, but manages to miss it, but collects the side of Jimmy's Beamer, and here comes Jason in the Cosy. Now Jason, not having much practice in the Cosy either, is about to find out just how powerful that car is down the straight, but what he's going to have to be careful of is a tight line around turn 1, because as we know, that Cosy is a little bit tail happy, so 3 wide they go, and who can hold on? Jason does quite nicely actually. Jimmy had a bit of a bad run, may be able to cover off Jason there. Yeah, just about, but I think Jason's going to go for this down in the inside. He is, as Nelly's trying to get in on the action as well. Jimmy's held on. Jason trying to fend off Nelly. And in a way, oh, Nelly Beer! Oh, wow! Oh, dear. Yeah, Nelly absolutely annihilating Twilight there. I mean, obviously not intentionally, but it was a big old no match for me tank slapper, one way and then the other. And I was about to say, around the outside through the double left-hander there is where you want to be, because that's where the grip is and the more speed is, and it gives you the inside line for the hairpin coming up after that. I was about to say Cozzy and Jimmy are side by side, but it's Jason and Jimmy side by side on the pack cam. There they are. Jimmy now going a little bit deeper on the way in to get ahead. Jason trying to get back alongside on the exit, and I think he'll have the straight line speed to really give him a good run. Yeah, he's already nosing ahead already, so look at the power difference. But obviously the Beamer is a little bit better in the corners than the Cozzy. Although, don't tell Connor that, because he's flying at the moment up in second place. Couldn't quite get close enough to SGP's pole, not even a pole lap, was it? Lap times in practice, but definitely there in the race. For SGP and Conrad though, it's the second race, it's like race 5 it's called. That it's going to be the important one when the weather comes down, and yeah, let's see how that goes for these guys though. Let's see, Jimmy, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if Jimmy can fend off Jason here, but Jason's got the measure of him on the exits of the corners. And let's see how they go side by side through the long left-hander. Again, in the dry, this is a nice corner. Jason going for a bit of a switchback. He'll have the power to get the run up the hill, and he may get ahead, but I think Jimmy will go deep on the brakes again. He's going to try and go in a little hotter. Is he? He can't quite do it. Jason covers him off. Lovely. And that's the benefit of the strength of the Cozzy on turning. But can Jimmy get a run on exit? I don't think he'll be able to. The Cozzy's just a little bit too good. I think for Jimmy though, if you can get a bump draft off Twilight, if Jimmy was to pull out, I reckon Twilight might bump draft him, but Twilight's thinking, no, I'll pull out, and Nelly's not bump drafted him. Oh, Jimmy now bump, oh, he pulled out maybe a touch too late. Twilight may have given him a nudge. Oh no, they don't all get through. Oh, piles off for that Demons, oh, bunting him round. Silver's off as well. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So a bit of chaos and carnage down at turn 1. And Demon are going very slow here. Oh, waiting for Art Pal. Okay, interesting. We'll get onto that in a moment then. So let's see the leaders as we are 4 3/4 minutes into this race. Yes, you'll notice we've got the race clock in the bottom corner. So 10-minute race. When that gets to 10 minutes, the checkered flag will fall. Regardless of where you are on track, and then when you next cross the line, that's it. Race over as Jimmy with a big slide. Can he collect it up? He can, but oh, Nelly gives him a little assist. Ooh, well, what do you think of that one, Ray? I'm sure he'll tell me next week. Oh, Jason's going for it into the hairpin. Gives Twilight a little bit of a nudge. I know this is kind of emulating the old touring cars, but we've got to keep it clean, guys. I mean, I'm thinking like the Jimmy and Nelly one. I mean, it was kind of clear that Jimmy had a big wobble mid-corner, big slide, and ended up wide. He was doing everything he could to stay on the track, and then Nelly's collected him. I'm not sure if you can put much blame on Nelly for that one, but maybe should have been perhaps a bit more aware, as Twilight's had a big wobble on the exit of the hairpin. That now gives Jason 3rd place, Jimmy in 4th, and here comes Art Pal, who it looked like on turn 1 last lap got a little bit wide himself, but while he was off wide, got hit around. Demon R waited for him. Now I think in perhaps normal circumstances, I don't know, maybe it could be said that Demon R wouldn't have needed to wait unless Demon R did something he felt wasn't quite right. Let's see if we can get any information on that. To quickly mention as well, boost is available, or is on for these guys. So with 8 cars on the track, as Nelly is in 5th place, the position that will get boost goes off the track. Yeah, so 5th place with the first car that could get the boost if they are more than a second behind. 4th place as we go 3 wide through the final hairpin. 3 different lines. Here comes Jimmy trying to sneak through. And unfortunately for Demon R, the Merc just hasn't got the power out of the corner to really compete with the Cozzys or the BMs, as we see on the pack cam now. There's three of them just pulling away from him a little bit, but the Merc is good in the corners and is good in the wet. There was a little bit of a wobble there between Nelly and Jimmy is off and Nelly is off. Oh, and there's a massive crash. Autopolis collected again, Twilight's collected, I think Demon R's collected someone as well, but now he's up to fourth. That was absolute chaos. Well, this is the point where I would normally say, so Ray, what did you see of that? And he'd say something that I didn't understand. But there we go. Okay, well, let's see. You've got 7.5 minutes on the clock, so 2.5 minutes to go. It's a 1 minute 20 lap time, which means we may, let's see, if these guys can get to the line before 8:40, which they should be able to do. Yeah, so we should have 2 more laps. Demon R's got a penalty. So he's been cheated at. Oh, sorry, just had to have a drink there. Okay, so Jimmy. He has the boost and no one right behind him at the moment to close in on Demon R, but as he gets within that 1 second, as I mentioned, that boost will drop off. So any overtake he's going to do, it's going to have to be absolutely worked for. Nelly in 6th place, Twilight in 7th, and Autopolis in 8th. They will all get boosted as well, so it shouldn't be too long until we see them up alongside Demon R and Jimmy again. But we've got 2 laps to go, so let's see how that really does pan out. I mean, on average, with the boost, it gives you about an extra 6 seconds a lap. Jimmy's going to go for this. He's got to run down into 1. Can he slow it down? I don't think he can slow it down. He can't. He's gone deep. Off the track he goes. Can he return safely? Oh, my days. I think Nelly did well to avoid him there, let's put it that way. It's on the pan cam. Looks like we're riding on board with Conrad in the cockpit. Looking fairly sedate in there, actually. No sort of major dramas on the steering. Now, if we happen to get this view in the wet, it'll be interesting to see a difference there. Let's see what we've got here then. So Twilight trying to close in on Jimmy as Jimmy recovers from his little off. As we now have a look at Conrad, who is ever so close to SGP, and looking at the lap times, very nice lap times, 19.3, 19.6, 19.2, 19.7, 19.3, and SGP pretty much similar lap times. These guys absolutely flying in the 19s. And to be fair, in practice, I don't think anybody else could even get close to the 19s. Let's see, Jason, he's had a clear lap now. Not been able to see what lap time he's done, but he's broken away from Demon R in 4th place. And this is where Demon R won't get the boost, but if he can stay ahead of the guys behind, he'd be doing very, very well. As Jimmy, Nelly, Twilight now close that gap up. Autopolis coming as well, so it's taken about a lap for these guys to get back in on it. Jimmy's gone deep again, has he? Yes, he has. Or manages to stay on the track this time, as Autopolis doesn't, but manages to keep facing the right direction. Okay, we are now on the last lap of the race. The leaders are already through the final hairpin. Jimmy and Twilight got a little bit physical. Nelly sliding all over the place. The slide-in should be saved for the wet racers, but it's always exciting to see, as these guys definitely pushing the limits of their car in these dry conditions. The leaders then heading up to the final hairpin. Now, whether there's going to be any movements here with these guys, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Twilight and Nelly. Yeah, Twilight looking for a little bit of a switchback. That's moved to the pack cap. Twilight's on it. SGP is going to take the victory. Well done to him. Conrad, 2nd place. What can Jason do? He did a 20 on his last lap, so can get in the 19s. Jimmy having a look up the inside of Nelly. Can't do it. Nelly's gone wide. Demon R's got a gap. Jason's going to finish in 3rd. Demon R is going to cross the line in 4th. Is he? Yeah, then we've got Jimmy, Nelly, Twilight. That's close, but it was Nelly, Twilight, and then Autopolis. Okay, so SGP with the win. Conrad 2nd, Jason 3rd, Demon R 4th, Jimmy 5th, Nelly 6th, Twilight 7th, Autopolis 8th, and I'm going to have a drink before I get busy in the next one. It's coffee, because I'm recording this at 2:30 in the afternoon. Unlike we would normally do commentary at about 8 o'clock at night with a few beers down us. It's probably why there's been less swearing. Okay, so here we go. Very wet. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Let's get ready for some spinning. Oh, and we've got a jumper. Who was that? Nelly. I think, was it Nelly? Or was it Autopolis? I can't. No, it wasn't Autopolis. I think it might have been Jimmy, actually. Jimmy with a jump start. SGP into the lead. Jason trying to make a move on Conrad. Both in the causes. both won't know where the grip is. Well, nobody will really, but oh, Nelly goes round. Twilight Nelly goes winning. Told you it's going to be slippery, and I tell you what, it is absolutely soaking wet down here on the circuit. Now, this is where braking off the racing line, steering off the racing line, and accelerating off the racing line is going to benefit you massively because of the slipperiness of it. Let's see how these guys get through the hairpin now. This is where we are probably going to see a Cozzy facing the wrong direction. We got Autopolis been a little nudged by Jimmy on the pack cam, but Jimmy straightened him up a little bit. So Autopolis did get sideways, but not through his own efforts. Demon are going very wide there, but that's where the grip is Jason. Gets a big swapper on, gives Connor a bit of a run here. And the exit of that long left-hander, the double left, it's a long left-hander, isn't it? It's very easy to cross the racing line and have no grip. Jason's on the racing line, looking at eking across the road a bit. Connor going round the outside, now he's got the inside. We've got a big crash. Who was that? I think that was Nelly. He's off in the background. And here comes Demon R. Now, in the last race, we saw Demon R have no power on the straights in that Mercedes. But in these conditions, the Merc is a beast. So, not powering past them, but definitely there with them. How are they going to get on? Slowing down into turn one. Looks like okay. Everybody through. Yeah, everybody through. Connor making a little bit of a gap then to Jason. Now, Connor's driven this car in the wet last week. Jason hasn't. Obviously, he was in the bogey car of the Renault Aventime. As on the pack cam, Autopolis closing in on the back of Jimmy, who's indicating, and gives Demon R a little bit of a nudge. But I don't think Demon R will mind that, because being over there on the right-hand side into the hairpin isn't a bad idea, but being around the outside through the hairpin, it's Conrad. Oh, well saved, young man. Oh, young man. Anyone under a certain age won't get that reference. But yeah, so Demon R makes the move on Jason. Let's watch out for a swapper on as Twilight. No, Jimmy, sorry. Got one on the pack cam. Yeah, so as I was mentioning, Connor having driven this car last week in the wet, Jason hasn't. He was in the bogey car of the Renault Aventime. Jason not knowing exactly what this car may or may not do in the wet. Oh, we got Autopolis up the inside of Jimmy. And that's collected Jason. Not exactly sure who may have been in charge of that situation. Didn't have the best of views on the way in. Jason now trying to make a move on Jimmy. I mean, maybe Jimmy giving Jason a place back. I don't know for certain. But we are three wide. Jimmy's going deep. Jimmy's going deep. Is he going to get it stopped? He does just. Nelly didn't. Off he goes. Oh, he was a little bit later on the brakes maybe, but got to that racing line when he had to cross over it, and straight on it went. Demon R all over the back of Conrad now. So this is where in the dry, obviously Conrad was able to just fly away with SGP, whereas Demon R now is the one that's got the pace as we make our way through the double left-hander into the hairpin. And you'll notice there isn't any tyre tracks around this circuit. It's just so wet as Conrad gets that big slapper on. So does Autopolis. I think Jimmy got a bit too sideways as well to benefit over Autopolis, this long left-hander. This is the one that I'm interested to see if Connor is going to be able to keep it facing the right direction. He does. Jason nearly didn't on the pack cam. Okay, into the final corner we are going then. SGP's looking fairly comfortable out in front as these two different lines on the way in, both using the wide line round the corner, avoiding the racing line on the pack cam. They're using the racing line a bit more. I suppose with a bit of boost they may have that extra little bit of grip. Okay, now if you look at the moisture gauge as well on the left hand side between the race block and the tyres, to be fair, it never does go all the way up to the top. The level it is at the moment is extremely wet. But what we may see is, oh, Jimmy going straight on. Jason getting deep, dipping a wheel. He's managed to keep going. Well done to him. Yeah, so what we might see is bigger puddles forming, and it does look like that is kind of happening. The circuit is getting wetter and wetter. It looks like it's actually getting darker and darker out there as into the hairpin we go once again. We are halfway through this race, and actually looks like Conrad and Demon R are closing in a bit on SGP. Yeah, they are, you know. So maybe that is, yeah, see puddle there next to the curb. A bit of a splash of that puddle as well. Connor's on a bit of a tight line there. Oh, yeah, there you go, wibbly wobbly. And that's exactly what the Cozzy will do if you're a little bit too much throttle over the racing line. When you're going over it, it's giving Demon R a great run to try and attack into the corner, but in these conditions you really can't go like attacking the braking zones. There's only one thing that's going to happen: you're going to crash. So you're either going to take yourself out or you and your competitor. So you've got to be very careful. So puddles forming on the edge of the circuit. It'll be interesting to see if we get any sort of rivers going across the road. Demon R once again looking to the inside, obviously just looking to break off the racing line, get across that racing line early, and then use the exit of the circuit, the exit of the corner to his benefit, maybe. Now, it is getting wetter, but it does look like we've got, I wouldn't say a racing line, but you can kind of see where the guys have been driving, so maybe that's just because of the longevity of the race so far. It's not necessarily drying up, let's put it that way. Demon R still applying the pressure as on the pack cam. Oh, you know what? That's what, on the pack cam, Rincon with Autopolis. No, it's not. It's Nelly. But I'd like to see in-car on Conrad, because we saw that in the dry, didn't we? And his steering was lovely and smooth as these two going around the long left-hander again. I think Connor got a little wobbly again. But yeah, he did. And here comes Demon R up the inside, a little bit on the curb, but he'll be okay. The benefit of the full wet tyres. So Demon R is in second place. He's on a tight line though, where the racing line will be. Connor looks like he's gone a little bit deep. Demon R's got sideways on the apex. Oh dear. I think he may have been a little too cautious there and ended up too tight around the corner. And yeah, got him sideways, and Conrad back ahead with a bit of a gap now. And we're riding on board with Demon R on the pack cam as Nelly here, trying to fend off Autopolis, Jimmy, Twilight. Good luck with that, Nelly. Let's see how you get on. And Jason is actually just ahead of them. Jimmy's having a look at the inside. That's too late. That's got to be too late. Yeah, gives Nelly a bit of a nudge and another nudge and another nudge. And Autopolis says thank you very much, as Jimmy did just edge Nelly onto the edge of the track. Stop there. And Jimmy is giving him the place back. Well done. Nice to see, Jimmy. But Twilight says thank you very much. I'll have that place as well. Okay, so Autopolis and Jason, Cozzy v Cozzy. With BM behind them. Autopolis trying to take he's going to go for a wider line around the hairpin, but if you go for an undercut switchback, it's going to get wobbly. Yes, he's not been able to, oh, there you go, and Twilight got big sideways as well. But yes, Autopolis he kind of went for the switchback, and he'd have been better off going for all the way around the outside of the circuit. Not the corner. That's where the grip would have been. Also, it means you don't have to steer as much, which in the Cozzy is a mega benefit. Autopolis now under pressure from Nelly, who's having a look up the inside. He may go for this, but if Autopolis hangs all the way around the outside, oh yeah, done. But Jimmy out of nowhere does to both of them. Wow. I have no idea if there was any contact in there, but it looked okay from where I was sitting. But now we've got Nelly, and here comes Twilight. Said you can bump draft each other, guys. I'm just going to drive up the inside. Okay, on the pack cam, looks like Demon R is closing in on the back of Conrad once again. And Jimmy! I'm guessing it's Jimmy. It's just gone straight on. Yes, it is. He's dropped down. So back to Connor, we are looking at now. Yeah, Demon R has closed that gap back in on the pack cam, getting very busy once again with Twilight, Nelly, and Autopolis. Jason's managed to creep out a little bit of a gap there, hasn't he? Which, considering that he's got no boost, he's doing very well in that regard. Okay, through the hairpin. Demon R, you know what? Demon R's on the charge here. I mean, the fact that he's dropped away from Conrad has been able to close back up. Oh, Conrad's on the racing line. What? Get ready for the wobble. Get ready for the wobble. Get ready for the wobble. Not really a wobble. Oh, Demon R's had a wobble though. It's on the pack cam. Twilight trying to do a little bit of a switchback and Autopolis. To be fair, I thought Connor was going to have a big wobble through the long left-hander, but he did well to keep it going. I think just keeping that slightly tighter line though didn't help him as Demon R up the inside through the final corner. There's a little bit of contact between them, but it's the final lap. SGP's won. Well done. Hey, damn, these two are batting for the drag race over the line. Conrad gets it. Demon R third. Nelly. Oh, Art Pal. Oh, Jimmy. Oh, wow. Twilight's going slow, but it's crossed the line, and Art Pal. Oh dear, you're gonna have to be careful though, because there's Jason. Oh dear, I'm hearing actually Twilight may have spun Art Pal around in the final couple of corners there. Oh dear, oh dear. Now it did look like Twilight was going slow, but did cross the line. Wow, well, what an action-packed race that was. I mean, to be fair, the 10 minutes ended very quickly, but there we go. Well, it ended in 10 minutes, didn't it? SGP then with a victory. Conrad managing to pip through. Second place, Demon third. Nelly fourth. Twilight fifth. Jimmy sixth. Jason seventh. Art Pal eighth. And I have been told that Twilight has apologised to Art Pal at the time of the incident. I don't know if there was any conversation after it between the former team or the current team champions in DGT League. Okay, we're at 4 lights, 5 lights for a mixed condition race. Looks like SGP's on the racing odds and looks like he's had a phenomenal start here. Connor, he is also on the racing hards, not the best of starts. Is he ahead of Demon R? Yes, he is. Jason having a look up the inside of Twilight, looking at the moisture gauge in the bottom left corner. It's dry enough for slick tyres, so I would be surprised if anybody is going to gamble on an Inter unless there's going to be some rain coming within the first couple of minutes of this race. Jason having a look up the inside of Conrad with a mega slide through the turn 3 right-hander. And yeah, we're on mixed conditions. It's not that wet, but when you've just been racing in an absolutely soaking wet situation, knowing how much to push your car now isn't easy to work out, especially around corners like this. Conrad's just had a race where it's been a bit treacherous through there, as has Jason, so they may not feel comfortable leaning on their tyres as much. Okay, so Connor and SGP doing a bit like what they did in the first race, pulling away on the pack cam though. Twilight's got a great view of Art Pal, looking up the inside of Jimmy, who is just giving a little touch. Jimmy gave Jason a little touch, and Jason giving Art Pal a little touch. As long as they all touch each other, it might be okay. But here we go then. Nelly in third, showing the power of the BM over the Cozzy now. Sorry, not over the Cozzy, over the Merc, as he's pulling away from Demon Art. And Conrad actually having a look at attacking SGP down into turn 1. Nelly's gone deep! Oh dear, oh, Demon Art's gone deep. Jason's gone deep. Oh, it got very busy. I tell you what, Jason, Art Pal and Twilight did extremely well, and Nelly did not, and Nelly. Jimmy did extremely well to avoid Nelly and Demon Art going off there. And while that was happening, sorry folks, I absolutely missed it. Conrad's got ahead of Demon Art. It probably was on the main screen. I wasn't looking, I was looking at the back cam. So apologies for that, Connor. What a move into the lead he goes. So let's see what he can do now. Can he break away? Can SGP hold on? But then saying that, I mean, SGP's in a situation where he doesn't need to go taking any risks. He's leading the championship and he has just got 2 victories, so doesn't need to go ended up last in this race, but he's still going to want to win. Okay, Art Pal can confirm is on the racing hard tyre, but he has just been overtaken by Jason. So Jason in the same car. Well, that car is absolutely unique, apart from the car that's directly behind it. Yeah. Although Art Pal's got exhaust coming out the side of the car, I wonder if Jason has. No, Jason's got one coming out the back of the car. Who's that? Twilight having a look up the inside. Oh, I'm hearing he actually got a bit of a bump draft that put him up the inside, and Nelly's gone round again at turn 1. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I think it might have been Nelly that gave Twilight a little bit of a bump down towards turn 2, which put Twilight up alongside Art Pal. Art Pal now putting himself back up alongside Twilight. Demon Art going round the outside. Jimmy getting all out of shape. Jason's got a bit of a run on him. This is getting a little bit physical. Got to keep it calm, guys. As Art Pal now up alongside Jason. If we look at the moisture gauge, we've got no moisture at all on where they're driving on the circuit. So as we go through the long ride, oh, Jason, he got his nose in there just. as Artpal manages to just hold on to the slide. But here comes Twilight, here comes Demon R. Conrad on the pack cam has gone very, very deep at the final corners, but manages to hold on. Artpal got the inside line. Jason's got a lot of understeer there, which is unusual for the Cosy. But there we go. That might be why he's on the intermediate tyre and he's heading to the pits, and that might just be a 3-second penalty for crossing the pit line, as Demon R's got a half-second penalty. I'm not exactly sure what for, as he's trying to make a couple of moves around Twilight, but early on the brakes. Let's see, so it looks like Jason may be the only person that went for an intermediate tyre then, perhaps gambling on there being some weather. I mean, me and Ray did talk last week about if drivers will just do what worked last week, which was put the intermediates on, but in those circumstances the track was wetter and it was raining, and after about a minute or two it did start raining a bit more and it was too wet for the slicks. Whereas here, yeah, the drivers do get a couple of minutes to see what the track condition is like and see what tyre they may want to use. And on this situation, I think everybody has done that and thought, yeah, hard tyre's the way to go, apart from Jason. So he either didn't check or he just went for the gamble. Okay, so what have we got now then? Conrad still leading the way. He's opened the gap up to SGP. Then we've got Jimmy in third place. Go on, Jimmy. What's the gap back to Artpal? Well, there it is. It's not a lot. And then we've got Twilight, Demon R, Nelly, and Jason, who has pitted, obviously. Now he's going to be on the boost big time. Shouldn't take too long for him to catch up. Demon R goes defensive. Nelly going to try and go around the outside. Oh, I thought Demon R may have been defensive, but may also have been attacking. But no, it is just defensive. Keeps the tight line, but it compromises the speed on the exit. Here comes Nelly round the outside. Demon R's got a little bit of a run maybe on Twilight as the door closes for Nelly there. Side by side these two go. There's SGP on. Oh, Demon R with a big wobble there. Unusual to see that in the Merc, but he's still fighting it around the outside. Now inside, Nelly may try a switch back. But to be fair, in this corner, I do think you are better off going for the outside every time if you can. It just gives you the opportunity to get on the power much earlier, as we now go through the long left-hander. And SGP looks like he may have closed the gap up as Twilight. He's had a wobble. Nelly having a look up the inside of Twilight. Demon R having a look around the outside of Twilight. And this could get interesting down into the final hairpin. Nelly a bit deeper on the brakes. Just misses Artpal. Twilight goes for the switch back. Demon R looks all the way around the outside. So it looks like Nelly's got past Twilight. Demon R's got past Twilight. So inside and outside works there. However, Twilight, I think, is going to have the faster car on the straight here over Demon R. Yes, he has. Okay, Demon R may get a little bit hung out to dry as Conrad just dips a wheel on the grass on the pack cam. Twilight having a look up the inside. Whoa, Nelly, big wobble. I'm not sure if that was with a bit of a touch from behind. Oh, bounce off again. Oh, Demon R avoided him, just puts Twilight off the road. Oh dear. I think Demon R may perhaps need to give Twilight the position there. Is he giving? I don't think he's giving him the position. But then, should he have to give the position? If he's taking avoiding action of one car and that puts another car off, should you give the position back? Now, I'm pretty sure it's something we've talked about sometime in the past on commentary, and for anyone that might remember, feel free to let us know. I'm sure we will have a ruling on it, but it is an interesting thought, because, I mean, Twilight did nothing wrong. Technically, Demon R didn't do anything wrong. He was avoiding contact, but if you suddenly move across the road and put another car off the track, yeah, you were avoiding contact, but maybe you should be waiting for that other car. Anyway, we'll carry on nonetheless. We've got 8 minutes 10 gone in this race, so we're going to have 2 more laps. This one they're on, and 1 more. Jason is trying to close that gap, as SGP has closed the gap to Conrad, but did just get a big wobble on at the first corner, as Demon R having a look up the inside of Nelly. Can't quite get it done. And Twilight having a look up the inside of Artpal, may be able to get that done. Let's see. There was a bit of an angry gorilla on the side of Demon R's Mercedes. And Twilight having a look up the inside of Demon R. Nelly kicking up the dirt. Twilight goes deep. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, and Artpal going slow? Yeah, okay, so I'm guessing then Artpal tagged the back of Twilight, that put Twilight into Demon R. So Artpal doing the right thing there and slowing down, waiting for Twilight, but Jason getting in on this as well. So now we've got a three-way battle for 6th place. Jimmy has a gap up in 3rd. Jason's gone a bit deep, I think, and Twilight's gone deep here through the long left-hander. Let's see, so yeah, Jimmy's absolutely flying here. Well done to him. So let's see, a quick run down. So yeah, Jason is now on the hard tyre, which isn't a surprise. And that is one of the benefits of the boost. That, okay, he's made the wrong tyre decision, but had it been the right tyre decision, it would have worked brilliantly because everybody would have had to have pitted, but only half of the grid would have got boost. But because it didn't work, it's not hurt Jason too much. However, if there had been a fuller grid, it would have hurt him a lot more because he wouldn't be able to have got back up to, say, 6th, 5th or 4th, which is a possibility because Demon R is only just ahead of him right there, and there's Nelly and there's Jimmy. However, we are on the last lap of the race. The leaders are through the tricky little hairpin. The pack is making their way towards the tricky little hairpin as Jason and Artpal both get sideways in slightly different ways. Demon R covering the inside, Jason having a look, Artpal looking for a switch back. No, kind of tucked in behind, nowhere really for him to go. Now has a look up the inside. Might not be a bad spot to put your car. Jason has a bit of a wobble, gets on the curb a little bit, I think. And yeah, Artpal makes the move. Very nicely done. Twilight making the move as well. Now the leaders, they're on the main straight. Conrad is going to take the victory. SGP is 2nd. It's busy on the back cam. Jimmy in 3rd. Let's see, we've got Demon R getting a bit wobbly. We've got Artpal, is it? Or is it Demon R? Jimmy's 3rd, Nelly's 4th. And it's very close for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Wow, what an end to the race. Okay, well, let's quickly take a look at this then. So, Conrad taking the victory, 20 points. Jimmy, SGP in 2nd place. Jimmy in 3rd. Well done to him, considering that he had such a tough race in the wet. Brilliant to see. 3rd place, well done. Nelly 4th. Demon R 5th. Artpal 6th. Twilight 7th. And Jason 8th. That wobble in the long left-hander cost Jason just a little bit too much at the end there. But what an absolute belter of a set of races there. I mean, what can you say? As always in the DGT League, even if it's a small grid, it's still packed full of action, which is absolutely brilliant to see. Now, obviously, we would prefer it that the grid was fuller, but sometimes, yeah, I mean, things just get in the way, and especially this time of year. Obviously, we've got Christmas coming up and family things coming up and all that kind of stuff. But also, there does appear to be a few illnesses going around, and I mean, I know that Ray, obviously, the reason he's not on commentary with us is because of an illness which has absolutely wiped him out. And it could hit anybody at any time, and yeah, so it may be a case of having lesser grids in some of the races. But one of the things that we have been trying to do in DGT over the last couple of years is making the period of time around Christmas a little bit different. Like in the past, we've done like our Brown Star Dirty races where you can just nail everybody. We've had the Silver Star races. We've had different like types of racing. And obviously this one is like a throwback touring cars, but it is a Gold Star Championship because there is obviously a lot of races that we're doing in a 4-week period. But we are aware that at this time of year people may not be available. Talking about that, guys, get your updates done for Spec 3 of GT7. It is available. Get it downloaded. It's a big one. If you're on the PS4, it is the last ever update there will be on Gran Turismo 7 for PS4 users. What does that mean going forward? We have no idea. But we do know that PS4, it takes a lot longer to do the updates on the on GT7. So get them done as soon as possible. If you get online on Monday at 6 o'clock to do it, you may not get in the race at 8 o'clock. Because I don't know how big the file is, but on a PS4 it effectively has to delete your game and reinstall the game, and it is a massive game to reinstall. Um, excuse me. See, I'm just going to start coming down with this illness now. I've not been coughing at all week, and I'm starting to sound a bit like what Ray was sounding like, no bad from a tank. But there we go. Anyway, right, let's take a look then at the current championship standings after 2 rounds. SGP leading the way on 107 points. Conrad in second place on 99 points. He's 8 points behind, but let's not forget, folks, it's 20 points for a race win. And it's what, 17 points for a second place. So if Conrad can win 2 out of the next 3 races and SGP finishes further down than second, Conrad will close that gap in no time. And it can very easily happen, especially in the wet conditions that we're going to have. So Connor got hold of his Connie in today's wet race on a very tricky little track. If he can continue with that progress, he's got a great opportunity here. Having said that, SGP is flying. And yeah, he seems to have got a hang of it in the wet, in the dry, in the mixed condition. So it's not going to be totally easy for him, but let's see what happens in the future races. Demon R in third place on 85 points. Got a bit of a gap to Connor and SGP. Nelly is only 13 points behind him, and again, 13 points can disappear rather quickly. Art Pal in 5th place on 69 points, Ray's favourite number. And he's got an 8-point gap over Twilight and Jason, who are tied 6th place on 61 points. There is a bit of a gap then back to Jimmy, but obviously Jimmy didn't race in the first week. So Jimmy has scored 38 points in these 3 races. So well done to him. Brilliantly done. Rich Blues, he's on 35 points and only 1 ahead of SRI on 34 and Formula Gary on 24. Rich, SRI and Gary obviously not been able to race today, so they've scored 35, 34 and 24 in 1 race event as well, in 1 round as well. So yeah, these standings could change around dramatically. And let's not forget, folks, I mean, this isn't anything that's been discussed or agreed or thought of for a future championship, but on occasion, one of the things we do in Dynamic GT League is we'll go, right, okay, in this future championship, we're going to use the final standings of a previous championship to select something. It might be the order of choice of car. It might be a way of sorting out pairing teammates and things like that. So game points on the board is always a good thing. And what I wouldn't want people to think as well is, well, if I'm at the bottom, I'll end up with whoever was at the top. That's not always going to be the way. But anyway, there we go. So Steve F1, Critical, Hay, Bob having not yet scored. Now, a bit of information about Steve's wheel. I did comment on someone's post on Facebook asking for information about the wheel that Steve's got. And I did mention that Steve F1 had had it 6 months, had had a power pack fail. They sent another one out, and that's failed. So within 6 months, 2 power packs failed. Thrustmaster have now asked for the wheel to be sent back to them for them to check it over. Now, ideally, what they should have done is asked him for the serial number and then sent him a new wheel. If the information I was given is correct, and that is that up to a certain serial number, they are the ones that have the issue with the power pack, or have another issue with it that the items after that don't have. Which, if that's the case, then they should have asked Steve F1 to check what the serial number is, and from that either gone, okay, send it back to us, we'll post a new one out to you straight away. Or if it's not within that serial number range, okay, fair enough, tell him, and then say we need the wheel back so that we can test it and find out what's wrong. But what we will do anyway is we will send you a new wheel because it's within the warranty, and you shouldn't need to have had 2 power packs and have to send it back to us within that time. Unfortunately, it's taken a bit of time for Thrustmaster to get their dealings of that done, so we'll see how long it's going to take for them to get Steve's wheel back to him. But if they send it back and it's still got a problem, or they don't fix it, yeah, Steve may not have a wheel, which would not be good to see. Okay, I think I've waffled a bit there, so let's take a look at, well, in a moment we'll take a look at what the next track's going to be, because it's a bit of an interesting one. So we're going to go and take a look then at Red Bull Ring Short. So as we make our way down towards the start-finish straight in a very sunny condition, we know turn 1 here can be a little bit tricky on corner exit track limits, but as we look at the views, yeah, don't go spinning around on the way into the corner. But yeah, track limits, be careful. Also in the wet, that curb, apex exit curve, is going to be treacherous. As we make our way up to the short circuit, a bit like the hairpins at Autopolis, around the outside is where the grip will be, as we see the future league car in the runoff area. So yeah, careful of getting too tight to the apex here in the wet, but then crossing the racing line here, also be careful, because you don't really want to be on the racing line here in the wet. The car will start going left, left, left here, but crossing the racing line, it's ever so tricky. And we've got there's another go-kart track there. Can we ever go on the go-kart track, please? It would be nice. I think there might be a helipad as well. But yeah, so as I mentioned, be careful of crossing the racing line. It's one of the difficulties of the Red Bull Ring. Now the final 2 corners here, in the dry, these are going to be a lovely pair of corners to go through. In the wet, it's going to be tricky because you're going to have to be on the racing line at some point. So you may be better off taking a later entry, avoiding the racing line and the apex curb, crossing the racing line here, and then avoiding the racing line on the left now, to cut across the racing line to be wide through the corner. Be careful though of getting very, very wobbly. It's a bit mean to put this circuit in a wet condition, but at the same time, it's going to show you exactly how slippery it will get when you go on the racing line and cross the racing line. Turn 1's exit, every car is going to want to try and spin. The hairpin, the second corner, if you're on that tight line, as you get the power down, it's going to want to spin. But also, if you're on that tight line, there's a good chance you are going to understeer wide in the wet conditions. So it's a very good circuit for teaching you to find where the grip is. Okay. Now, if anyone does want the lobby settings, feel free to ask SGP. He'll jump on the game and load up the settings, the lobby for you, so that you can save the settings. If you happen to save the wet condition, the weather pattern will not be exactly the same as that on race day. Each time you load up a lobby, it will change. It should anyway change the weather pattern, but you can at least go on and try and find out where the grip is or isn't on those wet conditions. Right, okay, I think that's just about brought us to an end. I've probably forgotten to mention something, but there we go. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you for joining me on commentary, right? It's all right, mate. Yeah, so this will be the first race in a while where when we say goodbye, we're not going to have race. Ta-da! But there we go. Right, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, smash that notifications bell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again soon. Ta-da!